much for everyone coming along to this last webinar series run by Rubik's for 2020. Goodbye 2020. This webinar is a Christmas themed one. So hopefully you learn a little bit about gift giving, hence the hats. Just a note, we are social distancing here, myself, Jess and Ash. However, the camera is making us look really close. So, you know, you've just got to take our word for it. Also in this webinar, we will be talking about a little bit of a catch up or a recap of the topics we did cover off in the last 6 months on our webinar series. So welcome. First, a little bit of housekeeping. First of all, I'm sure you've all used Zoom before, but if there is someone who is here that haven't used Zoom before, make sure that you do mute yourself, because the reason why we ask for that is if you make a noise, the camera will go to you, the sound will go to you, and it will take attention away from us, and we want all the attention. The next point is this is being recorded. So if you do want to recap and receive the recording, we can send this to you, as well as after the meeting, we will be sending out the recording for your viewing pleasure over the Christmas holidays. So if you go to a Christmas party, you can watch this presentation during Christmas. So how good's that? Also, if you've got any if you've got any questions, please pop them into the chat, and Laken will administer those questions for the end of the presentation. So yeah, you can type in the questions along the way, so please do that. We welcome questions. I won't answer them, the guys will answer them. But also, what I firstly wanted to do here is say thank you to everyone who has attended these webinar series throughout the last 6 months. They've been really successful for us. The whole reason why we started to do these webinar series is, first of all, we wanted to pivot, what a word, in 2020. And we wanted to get some really valuable commercial content out to our business clients. And doing it over Zoom, doing it during lunchtime, we really found it really worthwhile. We ran 7 webinar series throughout the last 6 months, with over 285 people attending, which is massive for us, massive for people coming along and learning a little bit more about tax. So after all these presentations, we're hoping people can understand a little bit more about the tax obligations and make better business decisions. We are a YouTube sensation now. We've got over 130 additional views to our YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I think we're trying to get to 50 or 100 subscribers so we can go viral with our tax. We've also got a lot of positive feedback from these seminars, which has been fantastic to have such an engaged client base, as well as contact spheres. And that's the whole reason why we're trying to do, is get more information out there for our clients and also our contacts, so they can make better business decisions. The topics that we're covering today, myself, Jess and Ash is covering off on today, is first of all, Christmas parties and tax. I'm sure you're looking forward to that. Gift giving, general entertainment rules, and also then a webinar recap of all the information that's out that we've covered off in the last 6 months. There'll be questions, as I mentioned already, and also there is an optional poll. I don't think it's optional. Please do it, so we can improve our presentations and our content as well, and get a little bit of feedback too, positive feedback. The presenters today, first of all, Ash Bravington is a supervising accountant at Rubik's, come out to 5.5 years with the firm. Ash is a chartered accountant and has been for the last 2 years. Not to be a typical accountant, Ash is a gaming geek outside of work and a volunteer firefighter in the Carrum Downs region. He claims to follow the Fremantle Dockers just to avoid football talk, but is being convinced by Mark Deviljack, one of our directors here, to become a Lions supporter soon. I don't approve, I'm a Bombers supporter, so please follow the Bombers. Jess is joined the Rubik's team as an accountant in August 2020, so she's new to the firm, loving it, I'm hoping. She grew up in the regional Victoria. She graduated at CSU and has over 6 years experience in the business advisory and tax space. Outside of work, Jess is a member of the CWA and plays footy with Collegians Women's. Collegians Women's? Yeah. So a bit about me. I'm a director at Rubik's and have been for the last 10 years. I've got over 20 years experience in the tax and business advisory space, with dealing with small to medium-sized entities across Australia, as well as high net wealth individuals. I do a lot of advising in the non-resident space, as well as self-managed super funds. I'm also a chartered accountant and also have a diploma in financial planning. I go for the Bombers, as I mentioned, in the AFL, so please don't hold that against me, as well as keeping myself, and I'd like to keep myself fit. So currently I'm trying to get rid of this COVID weight. Now I will hand over to Ash to get into the presentation.
Thank you, Stu. So the first thing about Christmas parties, in terms of tax, they don't have their own FBT category or fringe tax benefits, but they do fall under different treatments depending on the circumstances. So first up, the easiest way of dealing with Christmas parties is going with a 50-50 method, which is claiming 50% of the cost of the Christmas party, and that 50% will be subject to FBT and no further exemptions will apply to it. So this is one of those things where the easiest method of doing it isn't necessarily the most cost effective, as using the actual method can provide some exemptions. So using the actual method, you're calculating the proportion of costs relating to your employees and associates, but then the cost for your clients and suppliers are not subject to FBT. So the first exemption that you have under the actual cost method is a minor benefit. So this is where the cost per employee needs to be under $300 for the party. Gifts are also fall under a minor benefit, but that's something Jess will talk about later as they're treated separately. The other option for the exemption is using an exempt property. So if Rubik's were to have their Christmas party on premises on a workday for current employees only, it's a non-deductible entertainment expense and Rubik's won't have to pay any FBT on that party. So if the party's being held off-site, then for current employees, you're exempt if it's a minor benefit, going back to the $300. And for associates of employees, so spouses, children, they're exempt if also a minor benefit. Clients and suppliers, they're exempt from FBT. However, we also can't claim an income tax deduction for those expenses either. All in all, Christmas party expenses are non-deductible as an entertainment unless you're paying FBT on them, and paying FBT is never really a good option. So it's easier to make sure that if they fall into an exempt category, everything's good. Now with that, that's the end of the Christmas party section. So I'll pass over to Jess, who's dealing with gifts.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm doing the gifts. So firstly, what is a gift? It's pretty simple. I think we all know what it is, but the ATO give you a nice little 4-point criteria. So there has to be a transfer of money or property. The transfer is made voluntarily. The donor does not expect anything in return for the gift, and the donor does not materially benefit from the gift. So pretty much you give a gift because it's a nice thing to do and you don't expect anything in return. So with that, most gifts are non-deductible or they come under entertainment. And I really muffed this up.
That's okay.
Going from the beginning. So most of the time you want to provide a gift to your client because it's nice, or to your employees because you appreciate them. But as accountants, we'd like you to get some bang for your buck, especially when it comes to tax. So we want to try and get you tax deductible gifts. And how you do that is you break your expenses into 2 categories. The first one being for entertainment. So entertainment is where you provide, is an expense where an expense directly provides entertainment in the way of food, drink, or recreation. So that could be holidays, tickets to the cinema, tickets to the theatre, anything that provides sort of entertainment in that way. So, why we don't want it to be entertainment is because entertainment expenses are non-deductible and we want them to be deductible. Yeah, so how do you make them deductible? So the first thing first is that you want them to be under $300 and if they can be consumed at home. We want them to be consumed at home, or that they're able to be consumed at home. So that it is not classified as an entertainment expense, and it's pretty important because there's a little subsection in the tax ledge. So examples of that are gift cards, bottles of wine, whiskey or champagne, hampers or flowers. And so if they're under the $300 and they're consumed at home, we can get a tax deduction for them, and that's what we want. So clients are a little bit different, but more of the same. So it's more thinking about who you're providing the gift to and why you're providing the gift. So you provide it to your current clients or your former clients. And the reason you'd be providing it is, one, it's a nice thing to do, but two, more importantly for your business, it's because you want to entice them back to your business to make future income. And by providing future income, that becomes a regular under Section 801 of the Tax Act as a deduction. So the gifts that you can give are very similar to what you'd give employees. So Christmas cards are a big one that we would give. Gift cards, bottles of wine, hampers, flowers, so all very similar. Some things to keep in mind about the clients versus the employees is if you give an entertainment expense, there's still no tax deduction. And even if it has a bit of a nature that you think you'd get a client back by providing an entertainment expense, it's still not deductible. The ATO give a pretty good example on the website, which is, I think, pretty stock standard. So if you give your brother a bottle of wine for a sale that you made to him, and it was quite small, only about, let's say, $400, but normally you'd only give a bottle of wine to a client if they made a purchase over $2,000, you can kind of see that you've given the bottle of wine more so because it's your brother rather than because you think he's going to provide you future income like your other clients would. So to recap, tax deductible gifts for employees are non-entertainment, under $300, and can be consumed at home. Tax deductible gifts for your clients are non-entertainment and have to have some sort of correlation that you they will provide you with future income. And at the end of the day, giving gifts is a nice thing to do. So you can give a gift however you like, but as accountants, we'd prefer it that it was tax deductible. So if you could stick to the under $300, that would be great. So that's my recap. Sorry, I forgot to change the slides. So we've got a little recap there, so you'll be able to see that when you play back the YouTube video. And I'm throwing back to Stu.
Cool. Thank you, Jess. I think you're throwing for a gift from us just because it's a nice thing to do.
It is very nice.
So what the two guys have covered off on is really specific sections of the legislation around entertainment. What I'm going to be covering off on now is more the general sections of entertainment. So what is it? Can you claim a tax deduction for it? And are there any exemptions around it as well? I guess gone are the days where you can go out for a long lunch and write that off for tax. That was a long time ago, so you can't do that anymore. But you can do a little bit around it. So what is entertainment? So the guys have touched on what entertainment is. So if you are providing someone with entertainment by way of food or recreation, the ATO on the tax legislation deem that as entertainment. The ATO provides some guidance around what entertainment is, and that will include transport, accommodation costs relevant to those consumptions of said food and drink. A couple of examples of what the ATO deemed to be entertainment is, first of all, staff social functions, as the guys covered off on earlier, Christmas parties, birthday parties, farewell functions, and anniversaries and dinners. Celebrations for sales targets as well. These are just some common examples that we see across our desk as well. And I guess entertainment and trying to get a claim of tax deduction for it is one of the main topics of conversations that we have with a lot of our business clients. They want to be able to write off that bottle of wine that they've just bought. They want to write off that long lunch that they've just gone to. But there's specific rules around that you can't do that all the time. But we always have these topics with these business clients. Going to a golf day, gym memberships, sporting club memberships, and rewarding and recognition functions are all deemed to be entertainment. So can you claim a tax deduction for those things? Probably not, But maybe yes, as the guys touched on a little bit earlier, if it does relate to FBT, or sorry, if those entertainment expenses have FBT on it, you can claim a tax deduction for it. But as Ash touched on earlier, you're paying tax on providing a benefit to an employee. So it's doubling the cost of providing that benefit. So you've got to take that into consideration. But I guess commercially speaking, forgetting about the tax deductions, as Jess touched on earlier, entertainment expenses can be a normal business practice, and that's okay. Taking a staff member out for lunch or providing a lunch with a client, I'm open for lunches next year, if you want to take me out, are there to build business relationships and are normal business practices, and that works. So just be aware that you often cannot claim a tax deduction for going out for lunch, etc., etc. You just need to know that you cannot get a tax deduction for it. So the ATO do provide some guidance on how to determine if you can claim a tax deduction for this particular entertainment expense. And usually they step through, or we step through when we're advising our clients, why, what, where, and when. Why is the food or drink being provided? Are you providing food or drink for an employee to complete the working day in comfort or enjoy themselves? So there's a big distinction between the two. Having coffee in your office is tax deduction, but taking them out for an elaborate lunch is not tax deductible. Providing refreshments to enable the employees to complete their working day is, in fact, in comfort, is generally not entertainment. Providing food or drink in a social situation where the purpose of the function is for employees to enjoy themselves is likely to be entertainment, as opposed to just getting through the day. What type of food or drink is being provided? The more elaborate, this is often something that I talk with my clients, the more elaborate, if there's alcohol involved, the more likely it's becoming entertainment rather than just consumables to just get through the day. So again, cannot be tax deductible. When is the food or drink being provided? Food or drink provided during work times, during overtime, or while an employee is traveling for work is less likely to be entertainment. So it falls out of that banner. This is because the majority of these cases, the food or drink being provided is work-related purposes rather than for entertainment. Where is the food or drink? So you take a client or a staff member to the MCG to watch the football, it's going to be entertainment as opposed to a working lunch in the office on your desk. Not that I do that with my staff. It's going to be, there's a big distinction between the two. So food or drink provided on your business premises, such as a function room, so it can be consumed, is not entertainment. As I guess, so the last point there, sustenance is not entertainment. Anything viewed as sustenance is not treated as entertainment. What we're talking about here is entertainment is generally not tax deductible. However, there are some specific expenses that are tax deductible. As I've mentioned already, meals provided to employees in staff cafeterias or over lunches that are just general sandwiches to get through a meeting is not classified as entertainment, as long as they're not social functions. So why are they providing, what is being provided, and where? So we step through those number of things. The cost of meals at certain business seminars are tax deductible, and meals on business travel overnight is also tax deductible. Some exemptions. So the guys have touched on a couple of these. That minor benefit, which is under $300, will not attract FBT, but also can be not tax deductible. Food or drink, as I mentioned already, consumed on premises can be tax deductible, may be exempt from FBT. So you need to check on each of these. Taxi travel. So if you're providing taxi travel to a staff member, it can be exempt from FBT, and also you can claim a tax deduction for it. This is often a single trip. So going from a client's office back into the office is also can be generally a tax deduction. And also providing a cash bonus to a staff member as opposed to a gift or something like that can also get around the FBT rules and also the tax deduction rules. So that's the end of the session talking about specific Christmas parties, gift giving and generally entertainment. So what I'd like to do now is just quickly recap on all the topics of the webinars that we've covered throughout the last 6 months. The first topic was way back in July, where we're all in lockdown and ready to go. We did a presentation about how to set up your business for financial success. And I might add, all these webinars are available on our YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe and comment and all that sort of stuff. And also do a viewing in your own time. So they're all available. But the main topics of conversation in that webinar was the importance of an annual budget and also cash flow forecasting and how to get around that and how to actually set that all up. It's amazing the amount of businesses out there that don't have a budget, don't know about their cash flow. So we're trying to set our businesses up for financial success. We also talked about how to improve current cash flow, as well as getting the steps involved of what you can do to get your business house in order. So a little bit of a health check. The next presentation that we did at the end of July, we did that to coincide with Hatch Financials, Tim Gasper from there, and Terrain Consulting, Laurie Rigoni. We covered off on property development. We covered off on home builder grants, what a town planner is and how to use one, the types of dwellings and the zoning guidelines. And I covered off specifically on ATO and property and the facts and intentions and the tax consequences of doing a property a development. So again, that is on YouTube, and we do have a copy for that for anyone who wants it. It's there and available. The next one we did in August, we talked about super, a quick superannuation health check. A lot of people want to take more control of their super, and we talked about what a self-managed super fund is for those people who wanted to be more involved in their super. And I guess paying attention to your super now is really important for your future. And that was probably the main thing we wanted to get across. We do advise a lot around the self-managed super fund space. So if you do have any questions around that, please contact us. We also covered off on the different types of super funds available out there for everyone. And how we can help. The next presentation we did in September was building your business value. We did this with Eliza Smith from our office, myself, and Gareth Bohans from the Business and Sales Consulting. It was a really well-attended one. I think that was our major one throughout the year. We talked about what influences a business valuation, how to scale your business, how to remove yourself from the business. A lot of our clients worry about if they remove themselves from their business, that the business is not worth anything, which is not often the case. And also I covered off on how to limit your tax in the business sale. Next one, I think Ash was involved in this one, myself, Ash, Eliza, and Mark Debblejack. What did we cover off on this one, Ash?
So with this one, we were looking at the different ways to run a business in different entity structures. So that was sole trader, partnership, trusts, and companies, and the advantages and sometimes disadvantages of each one. There are also the asset protection and CGT considerations, and how superannuation using an SMSF can play a supporting role in your business structure.
Yeah. The one we did last month in November, the one prior to this, we had Alice Rue from SMB providing a little bit of an insight in insolvency. Great topic to talk about leading up to Christmas. And we talked about COVID and how that affected businesses and the traps around trading while insolvent. We talked about business finances and how that can affect your personal risk. We talked about the new laws coming into place around insolvency trading, which every business should be aware of, and also insolvency experts and what that can actually do to help a business move through that journey of insolvency or administration. So our next presentation will be in February next year. Again, we want our business clients to succeed. So we will be talking about preparing for the year-end, financial year-end, and some things to consider while leading up to the end of the financial year. So look out for that. Come along. There are our contact details if you want to contact us outside of this presentation. Myself, Jess, and Ash are all available. Please either follow us on Facebook as well as our YouTube channel. Also, please give us a review on Google. these things really matter on a digital branding space. And we really are grateful for anyone who puts on a positive review on these channels, because it does make a big difference for us. Also, outside of this, we do offer a free meeting to discuss your business, your business and what we can and can't do for you. Are there any questions? We covered a lot of topics there, a lot of specific stuff, but are there any questions?
At the moment, there's not, but that's okay.
That's okay. That means we covered off on everything really thoroughly and no one's got any questions, which is fantastic. That's okay, because if you do have any questions going forward, you can contact us specifically and we were happy to answer them.